Hello, everybody. How you guys doing tonight? As you can see, tonight we're going to do a little bit of serious talk about, the weather that's hitting everybody. You got places that aren't
Mhm.
used to dealing with snow and ice that are dealing with it pretty severely, rolling power outages and other things. It's important to talk about. Also important to reach out and see if people can help each other, if you're
Yeah,
the one needing help or vice versa. So it was last minute thought process, but it's actually very important right now.
it is.
Um,
Yeah,
Before we get too deep into the topic, there's a few people here you want to give a few shout outs. There's not a lot, but there's
yeah,
a few.
yeah. Go to the top here. Justice dropped in to say yo yo, Justice, Bilancello, Jangles is here. Hey, Jangles, Lady Liberty, Tyler the Vapor. Excuse me. Rajan is here. Hey, Rajan, it's nice to see you. And Fuffless Record just dropped in just now. So Lady Liberty, of course, is in there, as is Advocate and myself. So just a few people, but that's okay. No, no, we
Yeah.
like it. We like it cozy.
Well, we also do have the fact that this is hitting people hard in some areas.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I did talk to Texas Mama today. She's been dealing with power outages, no water right now, having problems getting food deliveries and getting her mother to appointments. It's like that's a lot to put on people. So that I
Yeah.
just wanted to give that shout out because she said let people know what's going on and she's okay. She's just working with what they can. So what better way than just say it, on live. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons why I was behind this. Is a good idea talking about because I know what she's dealing with is bad enough, and I'm kind of glad she doesn't have her car back yet because she'd be driving in this, and that
Mm-hmm.
nobody has winter tires in Texas. You know that better than I do. So, do you have winter tires on your vehicle?
No. Hmm.
See,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good deal. Yeah. Yeah. It was already bad enough with the current situation we're dealing with, right? All the restrictions for going out and having to put a mask on and everything else, and then we get hit with all this snow, and really Siberian temperatures that we don't get down here. Um, Oklahoma, Texas, that south region, this really got hit hard, and it just really piles up on people, right? So you already had the kind of social isolation of those restrictions. Then you have the isolation of, well, I can't get anywhere. You know, uh, I kind of pride myself in being able to go anywhere in my truck, but when I started to back out, I almost couldn't back out because of the drift that was up against the garage. So I mean, it just hits people all over again, right? Here we are, rolling blackouts, power outages. The states just weren't set up for this because I have to have a little background because my wife works for utility. There is a choke point with Houston and the whole Texas area. Those are where the big natural gas supplies are, and those natural gas supplies they fire up the Southwest Power Quadrant, and it was so cold that the what little moisture there was in the natural gas was freezing up, and so it can't get this way. So in that caused a big thing for Texas with all the power there. And we share in the Southwest region. There's a Southwest Power Conduit group that shares power when one goes down, and they were just like calling for all the power they could get. So that's why we were looking at rolling blackouts here. Now, oddly enough, the NBA still played their major game here in Oklahoma City that night, where we were having such bad rolling blackouts. But that's why this is such a choke point, and it was such a major deal. We just don't get those. Then one night was down to 14 below. We don't get that here, and that added pressure on that is the reason that I thought of this topic, because it's just another layer onto that seasonal depression, you know, restrictions and everything else. But I wanted to highlight also that we're going to come up out of this too. So spring's right around the corner.
Jingles. Is she too old for snow forts or forts in your house? I want to raise spirits. Get into something that's physical activity. Build a fort. Do something just fun and spontaneous. Amazingly, that can throw you right off a game for trying to bring yourself out of things. I know you've been going through a lot, buddy. And just thought process, even I think she's a little older than, she's not little, but I'm pretty sure she's still at the age where she could still have a little bit of fun trying to, build a fort with some chairs or, a blanket.
Blanket fort. Yep.
Yep. Blanket fort, flashlights, build little covers you can tape onto flashlights to do different design. You can have all kinds of fun with, like, grab yourself a cheap laser like I did and play with it. It's just, you never know.
Right.
It's just something to try and just distract yourself. Believe it or not, that little bit of help can go a long ways. Same thing, though, that if you do live in a place that, maybe you have an elderly person living nearby or someone really can't get out, has problems walking, make sure you have a mask on, but go over, give them a knock and see if they could use a little bit of help, clearing their walkways or something with all this going on. Maybe they might have someone coming to do it, but that doesn't mean it's not going to help to make sure that in case of emergency that they're okay to get out. And the fact that you're even willing to come over and say that to them and offer gives that kindness, and that can actually cheer up a person's day. So, South Carolina, yeah, well, even gloomy weather, sometimes you just try to, how better to put this and say, kind of make your own imaginary, like, better situation.
Yeah, people here say we want snow. We want snow. We don't ever get snow. I don't think they'll be saying that for a while now.
Do you know how many people were constantly saying, "Oh, send some snow down, send some snow down"? Well, there you go. Congratulations, it was sent. Now what's going on? You complaining about it, huh?
Yep.
And 700 snowplows that he's bragging about, that's not enough. Not for as big as Texas is. Not even close.
No, they'll have to wait for it to melt off, I'm sure, in a lot of places. But it's just one more layer for people to have to deal with, and that kind of pressure. That's what I want to kind of, I kind of touched on it a minute ago, but I want to reiterate. It's not going to last forever. We got spring right around the corner. If you look at the temperatures, this next week we're going back up into 60s, 70s, 50s in some places, but be out of this, right? So temporary. We've got to, it's always more healthy to categorize the things that are really going to stick around and be a burden. And if you can see this for the temporary position that it is, you're going to come out stronger on the other side, right? You just can't let it, I know it's going to weigh on you, but you try to give it its proper weight and not let it be too burdensome on you.
Yeah. And another thing, don't go overboard. We all know this from the pandemic situation in the first place, but maybe stock up a little bit on some bottled water, not super stock. You don't have to get ready for like Armageddon, but get some extra bottled water or something if you live in these areas, because your water could go out. I know like Texas Mama's water's out, but I have a feeling, I think I've talked to her about this before, and I think they use natural gas to heat their water. And unfortunately, I think they heat the building as well, which is kind of a little bit concerning. Because I saw that Instagram post that you saw Caitlin covered up in a blanket, like head to toe. So I have a feeling it's kind of chilly in their apartment.
Yeah, that everybody, nobody likes their major utility, right? Nobody likes paying the utility bill. It's a monopoly, people say. But here's what happens when you deregulate power, like they did in Texas. Texas is totally deregulated. So you choose your energy provider, right? Well, the problem with something like this happening is that those energy providers still have to buy energy. And when this hits, the price goes up and up and up and up and up and up. And it hit a couple of points where those energy providers did not have the cash reserves, could not buy power to sell it. So here we go, right? It caught everybody by surprise, even though we had a little leeway, but a little forewarning. But my gosh.
Yep. That's why I have a backup generator for stuff if I have to have it. We actually have two, but one's a little older, so we got a newer one. But it's important. You never know. I live rural enough that if we get hit with a bad ice storm, we could lose power for a week. It's possible. We haven't had it happen since I lived here. Knock on wood, but it can happen, and I try to prepare for some inevitability. You can't prepare for everything. You do the best you can.
No, you can't.
Um,
Really cannot. You really cannot. But it's a good opportunity for those of us who don't get snow, don't get snowed in, don't have this hard snow. You know, it's a good day to make some chicken dumpling soup, or get yourself, board games, something to kind of distract yourself from all of this extra pressure.
put on a Dean
There's
Martin
all sorts of ways that you can
put
combat
on Dean
this.
Martin playlist. Winter Wonderland, White Christmas. You can do all. Hey, almost. It's cold outside. You go with Dean Martin. You're pretty much going to talk about winter because he loved winter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I said, have some fun, Jingles. See if you can come up with some creative activities for you and the kid. That way, there you can keep yourselves distracted and maybe have a little bit of fun with it. At the same time, you can still go down memory lane and make it a part of that. Who can come up with the best, like I said, the flashlight cover? Who can come up with the best, prettiest picture or something like that? Prettiest light.
Shadow puppets.
Shadow puppets. Yeah, that too. It sounds ridiculous sometimes, especially as you get older, but sometimes you need ridiculous to break you out of that funk. You
Right.
need to kind of let yourself be a kid again in your mind. I mean, obviously our bodies, John can attest to this, we don't feel like we're kids anymore when we start, but we try. There are days when you go out there and try to do some of the things you used to do. You might not walk back the same way you walked out.
That's true. That's true. That is 100% true. So yeah. Soon, like you say, we want snow, right? But we don't want it like this. Isn't that the fickleness of everyone? I want snow, but only in the perfect amount where I can make snowmen, so it's not freezing cold outside, and have snowball fights, and then I want it gone.
Yep,
We've
and it
got
has
used
to
to
be a
be an
perfect
instant
amount,
society.
perfect fluffiness, perfect packiness, and for the perfect amount of time. Then you can all let it melt, and then come back again nice and fresh. You want a nice white Christmas, but by the day after Christmas, it can go away. Yeah. So we want to live in our own little bubble that doesn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah,
Careful what you wish for. That's all I can say.
it goes back to what we talked about the other night, right? Patting your foot at the microwave, right? Can't wait for your coffee or whatever you might be making in the microwave to get done, right? We want it when we want it, exactly how we want it. So,
Yeah, Tyler. The other day when I went out 2 days ago to shovel, I thought that some of the snow had melted. No, when the rain came down, it turned it into heavy slush. That 4 to 5 inches of snow as I'd call it, was the heaviest damn thing. Even though I used a tractor for a lot of it, but the tractor was sliding in this too, so that was fun. Hey, Big G. But what I did shovel by hand, oh my god! By the time I was done, yesterday. The last 2 days, I crashed afterwards. I could hardly move. And
yeah,
then,
I heard my father-in-law describe it as what they got up there in Colorado as dry snow. There's not a lot of moisture in it. I looked at my wife and was like, snow by its very nature is moisture.
yes.
But I guess it's not a lot there. It blows away, and it's not like it's going to do here. We're going to have everything popping in spring here, so from all the moisture. But we're not used to getting that. And then we'll have spring rains. So that to look forward to. We'll go right from a snowstorm into a tornado season. So
Big G's in the house. Hey, there's another idea. You can have a lightsaber fight.
Ooh.
You can
An
find a couple
actual
sticks
lightsaber,
or mops. Yeah, not actual lightsaber, not with the kid. You don't want them to get injured in the process. No arms missing and you're done, okay? Dry powder, yeah. Actually, dry powder snow is the perfect stuff for people who are skiing too. Like that. Do they have ski resorts? They must have some on the mountains, like areas in Texas, right? No. So snow is just not a thing down there. The dog is getting excited.
Sounds like you've got your dog working in like a boiler room, tapping away on the keyboard.
Yeah. She's just excited. She wants to come over and visit. That's just typically how it is. But yeah, Big G had a good show on yesterday. Caught that. That was fun. They even kind of guessed the trivia question right. It was kind of a complicated answer. When I looked up the answer myself, I had to verify it, and it's like, oh, okay. So I knew it when it actually started, but the technical answer, when was Empire? When did they start filming Empire? They did technically start filming Empire in '79, but majority of the film is 80, and I mean, yeah, 80 came out in 80. It started in 78. Sorry, majority was done in 79, and then it was a little bit left. Like the finishing touches were done in 80, so before the movie came out. So you think about that, it took back then it'd take, they didn't shoot a whole film in a few months. It took like up to a year or two, sometimes 3. Yeah. But it's amazing the quality they got out of the movie way back then. Better than the quality of a lot of movies now. I mean, has anybody even watched any horror movies in the last 10 years? Trying to find a good one is not easy.
Do you know, I think Hollywood is a straight run out of ideas. I saw that they are remaking Mortal Kombat. I saw that they are making another movie. What was it? It's another remake. I mean, this is run straight out of ideas to try to catch.
They're talking about bringing Elf back again. Elf. Talking about bringing that back. It's like the Turtle movies. How many reboots they do with the Ninja Turtles? How many reboots have they done of the Transformers? There's talk of another reboot on that again. It's like, Can you guys come up with original ideas? It's not like your brain stopped working at some point. There are other things you can do, even at least change it up and have it be different.
Just got lazy, Yep. They worked before. Let's try it again.
Although I will give them credit. With the pandemic going on, it is a little bit more difficult to come up with fresh ideas. That you can film. But right now would be a good time to be working on the scripts for new ideas. I don't know. Anybody else here looking forward to a certain genre of movie coming out that might be something that hasn't happened for a while? Something you'd really love to see, or maybe a reboot you would actually enjoy seeing. I kind of wonder if maybe redoing the Leprechaun movies would actually be kind of cool. Do them with a little bit better, more realistic Leprechaun.
I don't know. I mean, for all my hate on the Mortal Kombat reboot, the special effects were really cool. So, I mean, you get those movies where, and I ask the people out there, what's a movie that you liked, that they did a reboot of, that you kind of hold it to that, that level. And you're wondering what the reboot's going to be like, or was the reboot better than the original?
You want to hear a funny story? What just happened?
Sure.
This is how out of it I kind of am, because I'm sidetracked too with hearings and stuff coming up. So I'm trying to focus on that and get prepared for any question. You try to prepare for inevitable questions, not knowing exactly where it's going. If it's going to be a reintroduction to the old bill or something completely new, and not knowing and not being told what exactly is happening until it comes out. So I'm a little scatterbrained with that. And then I saw that we watched both the Garfield movies. I said, well, yeah, we just did that last, and I realized it's Lady Liberty afterwards. It took me a second to register she was saying it. It's like, yeah, we
did that too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did. Wait a minute, that is us. Never mind. Okay. So if anybody's wondering if it's okay to be a little spacey, yeah, I am. So.
But I mean, we did, we're all dealing with a lot. I noticed that I didn't catch the whole thing, but I need to. That I actually was late because I'm back in school. I had a little break, but I'm back again. That Bargain Vapes Live is the show over there is taking a little hiatus for a while. And so, I mean, Kira
probably can give a little light to that if you have any questions about it.
I just saw that she has popped up. Yeah. But I mean, it's hitting everybody differently. Hey, Lethal Coils, how's it going? It's hits everybody, but I saw all these like whimsical expressions like I survived snowvid, and I guess it's okay, right? I mean, you're gonna have a little fun with it, a little laugh with it, but for a lot of people, it was not a laughing matter, and it's just a lot to deal with. I mean,
There will
I
be a
felt
point.
it.
There'll be a point where you can laugh at it a little
Yeah,
bit, but
yeah,
there's
it's just
also a
not.
point right now where that's too serious
Yeah,
and too much for some.
got to
My
because that's
cousin,
that.
my cousin put up a post on Facebook a little while ago about restaurants not having dine in and stuff, and how kind of talking about how he doesn't believe in the whole pandemic's real and is made up. And then my daughter, who's dealing with her grandmother being in the hospital right now, doesn't know if she's going to be coming back home. My
Yeah,
daughter tested positive and her sibling tested positive, and then that's why we were on a 2 week quarantine thing. And she took it and couldn't deal with it, so she unfriended, my cousin, which is actually, they're usually pretty close, but it just, sometimes that joking is good, and then there's a point where you can cross it, especially for people that have dealt with it firsthand. I'm sure that, we have someone in chat that I guarantee doesn't find all those little memes funny.
mm-mm.
Uh, you try to laugh with it, try to take the lighter side, but there's sometimes it won't go away. That stigma will stay. Do the best
Yeah.
you can to kind of move on from it.
I mean, where my thought was with this, I watched the town hall uh, last night with Biden, and the scariest thing, is that they still don't have answers for a lot of this. They're talking about next year, like by the
Maybe.
beginning of next, yeah, May, but yeah, and then we're seeing if everybody's been vaccinated or not. So as we've spoken about before, here we are on this long haul, and that's why I thought it was so important to like not let the seasonal depression pile on to everything else. I deal with that too. You can see how washed out I am because the snow is reflecting the sunlight out there. It was even worse during the middle of the day. Um, but yeah, not to let that pile on because we still have a long road to hoe here um, before we get to the other side. And so we've got to pace ourselves with the things that we're dealing with and find those healthy alternatives to, to give us the willpower, to move past. And I think it's celebrating the little things. A silly little thing I celebrated. We had to get out. We got out before it got really bad here. And I just happened. So I was looking for the mug for Kira. I'd found it. I found it online, but I found it cheaper. And I ran to a little place and I found like my favorite root beer of all.
Uh, yeah, we just
You
had
know,
a
it,
discussion yesterday. Was it
it's
on Big
brewed.
G stream? We talked about no, whose was it? Whose stream was it? We were talking about root beer, and IBC and everything else came up.
Yeah.
No, it was Fresh's stream because Lumi was talking about Adirondack soda. And it's like, yeah, I grew up
Yeah.
in the Adirondacks, so it's kind of my normal situation. I grew up on Adirondack soda and IBC,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so
It says IBC back in the. So I'm dating myself here. IBC used to make a full liter in a glass bottle.
yep, they did.
And on a hot day, I'd take that over a beer. I'd take that over water. It was the best.
It's like
Enough
Stewart's
sugar.
brand is another really good one for the Northeast. They have a really their orange cream soda is just oh, and their root beer is really good too. It's right up there with IBC. So,
Yeah.
but it comes in
But I mean,
glass. That's the key. Glass bottles.
yeah, the glass bottle. And this is brewed by a company that does other stuff. But it's just, for me, hand down, that's one of my best root beers. But, celebrating the little stuff, right? I think is a huge part of, the things that you have in your toolkit to help you get through these kind of unexpected events. As we talked about many times, getting up is worth celebrating because there's a lot of times I'd rather stay in bed. Um, making a good, comfort meal, there's a lot of things and checking on people like you just, whether it's Zoom, whether it's a phone call, whether it's going over their house, you know, anything to kind of move past that stalemate that you get when you get in
Yep.
those kind of moods.
Lethal said that his wife's boss had the vaccine and positive for COVID. Still don't trust it. That's just it. It's a personal choice situation at this point. At some point in the future, when they verify what's going to happen, long term effects of it, right now, do what you believe is best. Because it's actually, if you think that you're going to be safer by getting the vaccine, get it. Don't hesitate, get it if that's the case. If you're skeptical with it, just make sure you try and self quarantine yourself as much as possible because that's the only other really way to deal with it and not put other people at risk. You know, at least do your part. And at this point, I'm not saying it doesn't exist because we've seen too much of it actually spreading. So,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we know better. So, but
I
there
had,
are
I,
people out there that don't know this. So remember that.
I had my pointer zooming around the screen, and I was like, "Oh!" And it's like, "Oh, that's not my pointer. That's Tim's pointer, parked right on the middle of the
Oh, it
screen."
is. Okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. There you go. There. Is that better, guys? Here. Let me grab him in the forehead. No. Hold on. Grab him by the biscuits. No. I mean, sorry. I didn't realize that. Sorry. I've done that once before. I remember when Lando was on, he was complaining about it. Remember? So I picked his nose with it. No, it's really good to stay on top of things. Try to be as healthy
Yeah.
and clean as you can. Like I said, the humor is good if you can laugh about it, but be respectful if someone isn't laughing about it. If it's too serious for them at this point.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm pretty sure that Texas Mama's not finding too much humor with the snow. With everything going on with her, no water, having problems getting her mother dialysis. I mean, this is a life-threatening situation for her. She
Yeah.
had to call the police department to get her mother dialysis yesterday because she
Yeah.
couldn't get any rides because, of course, with summer tires, Uber and everything is not running. So that
Nope.
isn't even an option unless you get lucky and someone happens to be going.
There's also, a lot of people are struggling with losing their pets or having to make a decision whether they're going to leave their house to go somewhere where it's warm. Uh, and it's just there's a lot of things that are happening right now that if you're not really personally experiencing them, it's easy to uh, let slip
Make
unnoticed. But we need to remember that there are a lot of people going through a lot of things right now.
And we're going to see when everything thaws how many frozen pipes and stuff you have to deal with. There's going to be a lot of plumbing issues. Not supposed to pick your friend's nose. Am I only supposed to pick a stranger's nose? Okay, we got to invite a stranger on.
No, that's the old saying. You can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Oh.
Yeah, you didn't know that one? Surprise.
Yeah, I can. See? Nah. No, it is a terrible situation around the world on different things, but try to stay positive. You're going to get through it. And unfortunately, if things don't go, you do the best you can. That's all we can do. As human beings, we do the best we can. We work forward. We try to make life better.
Yeah, most certainly. Most certainly.
Pick the nose. Yeah. Hi, Tom and Billy. Oh, it's while we're on the subject though, we're gonna try and get some music guests on soon to play a little live music. Maybe Saturday, if everything works the way it's supposed to, I'll have a local person. It's actually my shop owner's son, who's a good friend of mine. It might be on. He plays multiple instruments, so I'm not sure which one. I'm guessing guitar, but he might play drums. But try and get a little bit of live music. I don't think he sings, so it probably won't happen unless he has a friend over with him to sing.
Right.
But anything like that. And I wanted to ask this while we're early enough in the show, so people can put a response in. But what do you guys think if we could get a few people on that do play guitar, having a rift off? You guys vote. The audience votes for the winner. Just
That'd be cool.
kind of like they've had build offs on the other shows. I'd love to see a rift off. So you get play your best rift,
Right.
and
Right.
then see who
Oh.
wins.
So that we've already been advertising the winter doldrums, And then I was telling Tim just before we went on, if you're a fan of the Dropkick Murphys, they will be doing their St. Patrick's Day show again this year, virtually. So they just announced that on their Facebook page the other day. So looking forward to some music that's not recorded. So we have a few really excellent opportunities coming up here. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get a little bit more content on here for people to relax to. Once this ice breaks, I'm not going out and breaking my back trying to walk and do it, but I'm going to do some nature walks and stuff. Maybe that can get people that can't get out, maybe necessarily, especially, I'd say it, but right now, it'd be nice to have those nature walk videos for people stuck in Texas at the moment, because it's not exactly you can
Right?
go for a walk.
No, it's really bad down there. And so, yeah, I mean, find something to break it. If you really want to have some fun, log into YouTube, look up Scottish TikToks, and try to discern what these heavenly accented brothers from across the pond are trying to say, brothers and sisters. I have to turn the sound up all the way, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries.
I had to do that yesterday for Big G's channel. You could tell the accents were getting thick. I was like, what'd they say? I had to decipher some of it from what you guys were saying, because it got a little thick there for a little bit. You can tell when you get people from the other side of the pond talking together. Sometimes it gets really thick accent. You're like, what did he say? I actually asked Lady Liberty more than once. What was that? I don't know. Okay. All right, then it wasn't just me.
I mean, even the English accents get me sometimes, depending on where they're from in Britain. But this, I'm half Scottish and half Irish, and I love my Scottish brothers and sisters. But sometimes I cannot, if they get to talking fast, I cannot decode it. It takes a while. So, Jason, if you need any help with translation, give me a shout.
I almost did. And I was like, I got the gist of it. I'm good enough. So that's actually how it happened yesterday, too, because there was a couple times I almost asked, and then they kept talking. It's like, okay, I kind of figured out what they meant. I don't know what they said, but I know what they meant. So it's like, okay. But I will admit, it's amazing. Like, I'm sure we do it when we get talking. If there's somebody from overseas that's not used to the American accent, I'm sure occasionally it feels weird to us. Whereas we get talking to people that are overseas, I don't know, we don't even intentionally do it, but you kind of change your whole accent and kind of meld them. It tends to happen.
Yeah. But I mean, there's all sorts of ways to break the monotony in the day. Jesus, believe it or not, that's me slowing my accent and dumbing it down.
That's all right, Big G. Next week you got to do a little segment with you with a full accent, and I'll be like, can you write the translation in the description, please?
Can you turn on subtitles?
Subtitles be like, that's as bad as yours. No.
Addie Tooney's in the house. Hey, Addie, thank you for joining us.
Love you, brother. Yeah. I know Addie reaches out there. I don't know where Addie lives in New York. I'm not sure how bad they got hit by the storm, because lake effect could be a serious thing, or sometimes lake effect will bypass him and actually hit the Adirondacks. So it's kind of interesting. Maybe he'll give us a response on how he wound up dealing with this storm over there.
Yeah.
Like I said, we got hit mostly with the slush and ice afterwards. Other than that, it was just basically a normal spring storm. So to us, it wasn't that strange.
This storm where I am, electricity is regulated. This could change how we deal with these kind of situations. We sell a mandated amount of electricity to the power back to the power grid. We may not do that anymore, just because of this instance. They want reserves to be able. They were talking about rolling blackouts for most of the state for a while. And it's not something they want to deal with. It's that deregulation down in Texas is a mess.
Yeah, the solar fields and stuff being covered in snow are a big issue too.
Yeah, you can't run wind turbines. All that green energy went out the window when everything was frozen solid. So I mean, you can't run the wind turbines because sheets of ice just go flying off them if you start them up. So that's a big hazard. And then of course, yeah, the solar panels all frozen over. So um, I don't know. They're going to have to think about these kind of instances because they were pushing such a large green energy initiative before. But if that's all we had, we would have been in sorry shape for this.
Hey, I did find out something new. Upstate New York and the Adirondacks. My mother yesterday she had to have the neighbor's tractor dig out her propane tanks because she's switching them out. But I guess there's this place where you can get different colored tanks now. You can either get them blue, green, or red. And she wound up getting the green one, but it's kind of interesting, and it has a automatic, like, you know how they have it on like your power, but you have the automatic power where it feeds into the grid. When they run low on their the propane, they automatically send out a truck. It has a sensor on it. So I don't know that. I mean, that seems like a really good idea, especially in places like upstate New York or places that typically do have issues with running out of fuel. Just a thought process. If anyone's in that area, look into that because it actually does exist. I didn't realize they had the tanks. I'd heard something about colored tanks before, getting specially colored tanks, but the automatic feedback system to make sure you never run out of fuel, that's really a good idea, in my opinion. It's cold. I mean, Addie knows as well as all of us, it's really cold.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry.
Yeah. It was. Yeah. It got so bad here that I wore goggles down to down to pick up the posts and everything. It's a little walk from the house to the gate, but I mean, if I had not, it would have. It was just a bundle up kind of weather, and it still is. We got some milk today. We'll get more tomorrow. So, like I said, we're coming out of this. Slow. It'll be done and over with, and it'll be something that we can laugh at eventually, maybe.
Oh, great! You wore a type of glasses today. So that means next week I'll probably have to. Thanks a lot.
I do what I can.
I still find that to be the weirdest thing that could have happened in 2021 for me so far. Is you got your eye surgery, everything was doing good for you, and then a week later I wound up having to use glasses. 2020, 2021, the end of it, but it's like that was weird. The only issue I have now is I am not seeing as good in the dark still, so I think something did happen to low level. But I mean, like reading fine print, if the lighting's not good, I used to be able to read even in almost dark, like here would be easy. And now I find that's still an issue. So I see an eye doctor next month. So I find out maybe I might have to have reading glasses. That would suck. But do what I got to do.
Yeah. I'd. With the way they did my eye surgery, I need reading glasses for my phone now.
Do you?
So, yeah. So, I mean, I can read it, but it's more comfortable with the readers on. So,
yeah. So anybody reach out to the people. Reach out to your neighbors if you can, if you have the ability to. If you're physically able to move snow, and that that there's a lot of snow on their walkways. In many cases, you don't even really have to ask. If you go over and start shoveling someone's path because you're trying to be nice, they're not going to typically come out and yell at you for clearing their path. Just saying.
Yeah. I did notice something, as we were talking about, stocking up on provisions and things like that. I did notice that since all this happened and when the weather thing happening, nobody looked at the 10-day forecast because I did. And I was like, okay, it's going to be a week of really sucky weather. It's going to be snow and cold and miserable. We had to turn on emergency heat here because the heat pump won't keep up with it. So, but I noticed when I went to the store that everybody got all the eggs, all the milk, all the bread. We got to quit making French toast when these tragedies happen.
Were they out of maple syrup as well? Were they out of maple syrup as well?
I did not check, but probably so.
Because if that were the case, they could have called in for reserves. Call up Canadian Jesus, send him down. He can save the day. Because apparently, according to him, he sweats maple syrup, so we're good.
Well, they're used to this weather up there. My gosh, 14
Well,
below is like a calm day in Canada in some places.
believe it or not, Canadian Jesus and I don't overdrift. If anybody's trying to figure out what I'm talking about, we don't live far apart where I grew up. It's only a couple hours apart. So I know exactly what that weather is like because I lived in what they call basically Canada of New York. So yeah,
Basically, Canada. I love
yeah. If
that.
you talk to anybody in New York City, they call it basically Canada because they think Albany's upstate. Albany's not upstate. God, if you live in true upstate, you can't. That's like fighting words to someone who truly lives in the Adirondacks, and you hear Albany's upstate, you just want to wring someone's neck. It's just the way it is. There's got to be other states that feel the same way. There where someone calls a certain area that's nowhere near like look at it. Albany's in the bottom third of the state. How's that upstate? And it's in the side of the state that actually everything's open. Like you can almost consider where Addie is upstate, even though he's more like to the west, close to the Canadian border-ish.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Adirondacks are kind of up a lot higher, but it's still sort of upstate. Whereas Albany's way down in the lower third of a section of the state that's literally less than a third. It's like that's not upstate,
Yeah.
you people.
Yeah, but that's people in New York City that call that upstate, right?
Yeah. But still, it's like, and the people in Albany consider it upstate too. It's like that's not upstate, people. No, no, no. Sorry. Pet peeve.
Just-
If ever there's a peeve that's bothered me, I know growing up in the Adirondacks, that's something you just can't stand. Especially if someone comes up to like Saranac or something like that, and they're coming up on vacation, and they start talking about upstate, and you're thinking they're talking about where they're at because they know it's upstate because they're there, right? They're still considering Albany upstate. It's like, no, no.
You'll have to come with a diagram next time, Tim, so we can understand.
I know. Tempted I was to make like a whiteboard to put it in the back of the car and say, "Hey, this is not upstate. This is upstate." I know it sounds crazy, but anybody else live in areas that used to live in upstate, though, nearest to Plattsburgh. Okay, that's upstate. Plattsburgh is upstate. You know, granted, it's still quite a bit more up, but is close enough. I can call that upstate. But Albany, it's not upstate. Sorry to anyone who's in New York City. I know that you've just been kind of trained to think it is. Anything that's north of the city's upstate, right? No, no. That's up city. Up from the city. Up from the city. Yes, not upstate. And yeah, where Addie lives is actually beautiful. I have some family that lives out near him too. Hopefully this summer I get to come out and say hi to him and go say hi to Logan as well. Visit with you guys. Maybe bring you some gifts that you might not be able to get anymore over there. Just let me know what you need. So,
yeah, that's what I miss. I miss being able just to get out. I think the last travel we did was to DC, and that long travel like that. I miss that. I want to go some places, man. I like my home state, but golly, let's get out and move around a little bit, right? I would love to see, if it's not going to happen here, if it's going to happen over in the UK, I would love to have a expo on where we can go and kind of fam can all get together again and just kind of be just chill. But I do love that the connectivity that's gone on this year, and I hope that keeps up. But I think that everybody's ready to make a little travel, just a little jaunt. It doesn't have to even be far, but you've got to weigh everything so much. So,
yeah, I mean, here the biggest problem with nature walks is, these animals don't do social distancing well. They don't even wear a mask.
They don't.
They don't. They haven't been trained. That's your job. You're going to become the new park ranger. You have to teach these animals to wear masks.
Keep apart, 6 feet.
Yeah, 6 feet apart, and also social distancing only. That'll cure any problems with rodent infestations because if they're 6 feet apart, they can't copulate.
Right. You see a mountain lion with a necklace. He's got 6 feet on it. It's like, I thought this is what you meant.
Lady, sure, if you say visiting with me and the mean bunny, yeah, because you know what? I don't know if she took his tone or whatever, but when that bunny incident happened, she hasn't looked at him the same since whenever he's on camera. Poor Lethal. I don't know.
Yep.
Somehow she got the vibe. She either understood it or got the vibe.
Uh,
Is everybody doing okay as far as the weather that's in here right now? I mean, I know
uh,
we probably have a few less viewers for one today because of the fact that I know at least a few people live in Texas and are having problems with keeping power on, trying to conserve power with their phones and everything because of like
yeah.
Texas Mama and a few others. Is everybody doing okay? Because if you need any help, the Discord's still there. You might be able to reach out and maybe you can get help through that or one of the other Discords, or we can help you find somebody that could help you in your area if you're having an issue. It's an option. I mean, might have the more people, it's kind of like a village type situation. One person has a little trouble, they have a friend that helps. Once you get a village together, you can get a lot more done. So, make
Yeah.
sure everybody stays safe. We can reach out, and that's another way. Social media, reach out, make sure that they know enough to reach out. Even if it's someone, your neighbor has issues or something, you can reach out for them. That's actually a positive situation. Either reach out locally or online if it needs to be something that has to be dealt with. And it doesn't have to be just with this situation, it's any situation in the future.
Yeah.
Try to make the world a more happy, more secure place for everybody. Even if it's not something you typically would have to deal with. If you're helping out, helping another person be in a better state of mind, then you're helping. And it'll make you feel
Yeah.
better in the end too.
That's exactly what I was going to highlight. That I think we've kind of used the analogy before, right? Of you know going to the dance and standing on the wall and be like, man, that dance sucked. All right. I mean, all of us remember those back in school. School dances, right? That dance sucked. Which dude stood on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of the analogy it is with this community, right? Nobody's called me. Well, call some people, send them an email, see how they're doing. You make the first step, all right? Um, that's an important one, right? It's so important to engage. Don't wait for somebody to engage with you. You check on people, and You'd be amazed to see how much it lifts your mood and helps you. And you start to see that reciprocation come back to you. And it's just the way that this community is. It's the way this community has, especially since all this has begun, but it was like that before. And we're just so tight. That's where you get that interaction from. And it's good for you. It's good for the people you're checking on. They feel cared about. It's a great thing to get started and keep doing, even in times when there's not, inclement weather or, people being shut in or having some deals with some tough times. So
Yeah, and the add on to that is someone's feeling of severe depression. Typically, they won't want to reach out, and they might not even respond to you. But you reaching out to them still will help them. And you can't. I mean, it's hard to not think of it that way. Well, I always call them; they never call me. Well, maybe they're dealing with depression.
mm-hmm.
I mean, if they're dealing with severe depression or chronic depression, they might not be able to actually physically do it to call you back. That doesn't mean that when this is all over, they're not going to give you the biggest thank you you've ever heard of.
Right.
And that could very well happen when this whole pandemic's over. You might just wind up, if they can afford it, you'd be surprised on a gift or something, or just inviting you over. You never know.
Yeah.
Or they might never say a word, but yet you might have helped them anyway. You gotta take that into consideration. You don't always get everything reciprocated directly. Sometimes it's a pay it forward thing that you don't even understand. Maybe they'll help someone else because you help them, because they're doing better and they're talking to someone. Maybe they go to meetings or something, and because they're not feeling as depressed, they're able to reach out and help someone else. You never know where that chain's going to end, but at some point, a lot of times these chains go on for long distances, way beyond this one little thing you did, like reaching out and trying to call or talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
It could be almost endless. And in the end, you might get helped by someone who's helped by someone because they got helped. You never know. It's weird how life goes. And the most we can do, best thing we can do is be positive and try to be a positive influence and help for others.
Yeah. Most definitely so.
And be there if someone needs us. If you can't be that person, try to figure out who can be. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe it might be a pass off situation if you know it's more than you can handle. but also don't pass off and not be there, and ask them first. Don't just pass off and say, "Hey, by the way, I passed you off to this person, but I didn't ask your permission." Try to explain to them what's going on, and that you think that this person would help, and it'll be a better transition, because otherwise they'll probably just go back into being a recluse and not get help.
Mhm.
It's difficult sometimes to weave this like blanket, so to speak, of protection, but it can be done, and that's how we break the stigma and get past it. The stigma of anxiety, depression, hidden illnesses, just generally not being a more productive community. It's a lot. It really is. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
say it's easy. I mean, there are days where I scratch my head a lot. And I've gotten fairly good at trying to figure my way through this, but it's still not easy. Diggy Lady's car. See, there you go, Jake. Perfect. That's helping someone out. And that made someone's day, even if they're having a bad day at the moment and might not be able to thank you properly because they were stuck. They probably weren't in a great mood. They might have thanked you, but that's going to stick with them a while. Once everything's done and everything's sorted out, they're probably liable to come over and see you again and really thank you for it. And they're never going to forget it. And you're going to get stories told about you. You just became, you know, back in the day when I used to play the music for everybody, play the little song. Now you're going to have yourself your personal little song going, dance going around. You never know. And if she saw any of your work too on top of it, she might go, "Oh, yeah, this guy does this awesome woodworking." That'd be funny. Yeah, Jake, some amazing creations, bro. Really is. That said, we are coming close here, and I want to give everybody time to switch over to people that watch Grim Green. Um, Obviously, he's a very positive person in the community as well.
Yes.
Very good friend. Um, Been days where he's been down and needed help, and vice versa, and he's helped other people. It's it. Just keep
Yeah.
paying it forward and helping people.
Yep. That that those are
That's why I was helping her out. Get out of here before I get in trouble. I notice he says younger Asian exchange student, but he didn't add in the cute part because then he would get killed. Because otherwise,
That's
if
right.
she was not cute, then yeah, he wouldn't have to worry, right? Hmm. Nah, that
You know,
you get. Sorry, Jake, I
the,
had to do it.
those are content creators. Don't underestimate your streams and stuff. Also, um, those of you who are involved in putting out things for the community. There's been many times where you log on and you're not really feeling it. Speaking for myself, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Hey, this is pretty good. Okay, my mood's starting to change. All right, well, yeah, this is fun. Okay,
Yep.
that's funny. I mean, it's great. Uh, it's a lot of work. It causes a lot of stress. It does. Sometimes there's last minute changes and things that we have to deal with, and we can't hear each other. And I mean,
That
but
was
on
not fun.
on the other side of that, we do it because we enjoy it. We do it because we want to help the community. And I think that's why everybody puts out content, to kind of get that connection and uplift the community. And so it does help, and it's something that we need to remember,
And you had
all of
people
us.
coming back, like Emperor Vapco coming back and starting to do his lives again. That type of thing actually is a positive situation. For people that
Mm-hmm.
follow him, that actually is a very big positive. Heard the dog. That's the dog sleeping. Um, she's happy. But we had people like him coming back. Big G had him on. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You got people that, maybe content creators that feel like they're kind of giving up almost and they barely can get on. But by the end of that time they get on, and Graham Greens mentioned this just last week,
Mm-hmm.
there are days when you get on where you don't feel like doing it, but you push yourself to do it because this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
And within 5 minutes of the stream or by the end of the stream, you realize, I feel better. I'm glad I did that. It helped me a
Mm-hmm.
lot. Because that's usually what happens if you're doing it for the right reasons. But do it for you as well as, make sure it's for the right reasons. I mean, if you're getting on
Yeah.
there and just trying to trash talk, well, you're probably going to feel just as bad as you did when you started. But if you're trying to make a
Right.
positive influence or trying to get information out there, You probably feel better when you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
she's probably playing with me in her sleep. You never know. She's weird. She does that a lot. She's a, anyone else ever had one of those animals that do that, make noises in her sleep? The bunny does that too. She'll start squeaking in her sleep and start running when I hold her. It's really weird.
Happy pets.
Yep. Yep. Thank you, Addie. There's a link too for the doldrums. I will play that same clip I made for the video there at the end here to try and give her a little bit of promo because that's coming up in just a couple weeks. $5 to get your ticket. You can pay extra if you want. All the money proceeds go to suicide awareness. So it's for a good cause. It's not. It's a bunch of people donating their time. Just play live music for people. I mean, it's just going to be a lot of fun, and it'll pick you up. And it's not like the old folk music, the kind that you listen to, like maybe when you're in, you know, grade school, where they come in, have someone come in and play, and it was just like this old music you just couldn't stand. Like from what we heard of Emily Drinker, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah, and
So
here's an idea for just to throw it out there for some people. Maybe buy 5 tickets and then open up your Zoom room to people that might want to watch it with you.
yep,
That way, you paid the price for admission. Invite 4 more people. You can all enjoy it together and comment on how great the music is. Just a
yep.
thought.
And someone the other day was posting in, I believe Legion's chat or one of the chats, that
It
they
was
were
Legions. Yeah.
was Legion's about buying extra tickets for people that maybe can't afford it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a way to get people to enjoy themselves, and that'll uplift them as well. I mean, that not only helps suicide awareness because that's where the money's going, but it also
Mm-hmm.
can help. Help this other person. Maybe someone's going through this and actually needs the music to get out of it because music is very powerful. Very.
Yes.
That's why I'm going to try and get some musicians on to play a little bit here and there, just to try and lift us up a little.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
All right.
well,
Well, I love you guys. Take care. You're family to me. We'll see you guys Saturday. Hopefully, we'll have some live music. If not, it'll be a chat and chill session. We'll just kind of relax and listen to you guys and hear what you have to say and go off of that. Um, I want to kind of leave it open for music this week because we kind of could use that break if I can get it. And it looks like it's going to happen unless something changes and they can't make it.
awesome. Great.
So, also, Saturday.
What'd you call me?
Awesome.
Oh,
No, before the live on the other channel, I am going to be doing my first live review. Is going to be Saturday again, as long as nothing changes. That's the schedule for now. Obviously, with everything going on, I kind of this person lives in the that area that's being affected, so I got to kind of worry about the weather being a factor.
mm-hmm.
Other than that, it should be my first live review will be up for this weekend, and
Sounds good.
it's only gonna be a positive review because that's all I'm ever gonna do is just give people shout outs for things that I like and enjoy, and maybe you would too.
Sounds
All right,
good.
peace, guys, and reach out to those you haven't heard from. John, you want to say an outro?
Stay warm. Stay healthy. Check on those people you haven't heard from in a while. Be nice to the people that you play Monopoly with. That's it. That's all I got.
Grandma going down. Bye, guys.
Bye.